Hi guys, so I am actually sitting in our new hybrid vehicle. So we already have one car and we needed a second one. It'll do kind of like a personal update at the end, but I wanted to make the beginning of this video more of like a helpful guide for if any of you guys want to purchase a hybrid or electric vehicle in the future, and a couple things that I wish I had known before I started the whole process. Alright, so you're looking for a low emissions vehicle, and there's all different kinds of reasons why you might be buying one, but what you're trying to decide between is a standard hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, or a full electric vehicle. Now, the three things to ask yourself before you dive into this process are, number one, are you looking for a car that qualifies to have one of those stickers on the back that says that even if there's one person in this car, it is okay for this car to drive in the HOV lane? That is a very valuable sticker here in California. So there's a chance that our car won't actually qualify for HOV stickers after January 1st of 2019, but there's also a chance that we can apply for an HOV sticker that will last through 2022. Personally, I think eventually in California, it's gonna be electric only that are qualifying for these stickers. So that was the biggest reason we preferred to have a full electric car, but there were a couple different factors that made us say, okay, it's not really possible. The second question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of range are you looking for? This is a particularly important question if you are looking at full electric vehicles. I discovered that there are cars like the Nissan Leaf that only go like 30 miles on one charge. So basically, if your commute is more than 30 miles, which mine is, and your work does not have charging stations, which mine does not, then there's no way for you to get to work or home. So it's like, it's not gonna work. And another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these vehicles say that their range is, let's say, 40 miles. And it might be 40 miles most of the time, but if you turn music on, if you turn air conditioning on, you're automatically lowering the amount of electricity that it has in the car, so it's lowering the number of miles it's gonna go on that charge. And over time, the battery can actually like degrade. It goes through this degradation process. Is that the right word? So in other words, like a Nissan Leaf back in the day apparently said it was like 40, 45 miles, something like that. Now the word on the street is that about maybe 3-4 years later, these cars are going less than 30 miles on a single charge. So my recommendation is to look at what that range is that they advertise for the car, and then just kind of assume that in a few years, it's not gonna ever be even close to that number, I guess. I don't know. The whole thing with electric cars too is that this technology is still pretty new. And I'm fully aware that electric cars have existed for a while, but I mean on the commercial market, like a regular standard car that you can like go to a car dealership and go buy, that world has not really been around for too long. So all this stuff is very new, and it feels kind of like this rogue market of like, what do I do? Because I don't know what's gonna happen years from now. The third question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of charging situation can you get set up in your home? And that's actually the number one thing I wish they would have talked about when we went to a dealership. We actually went to a Chevy dealership and looked at the Chevrolet Bolt, not the Volt with a V, the Bolt with a B. Oh my god, so hard to tell the difference when people, Bolt and Volt, it looks the same when you're lip reading. But anyways, the Bolt was like this crazy, amazing spaceship car, and they're like, it can go like over 100 miles in one charge. I'm like, wow, I can get to and from work. This is amazing. We were so close to leasing a brand new Chevy Volt, geez. But we actually said, oh, that's not gonna work when we looked into the charging requirements. If you charge it in a standard, I think it's 120 volt outlet, like just a regular plug in your house, if you charge it in that with the standard like battery charging kit thing that you get with the car, it only charges like a couple miles per hour of charging. But then if you can get a 240 volt outlet installed in your home and you get the upgraded charger, which is about $500, then you can charge it overnight to full capacity. So basically, we were calculating out how much it would cost to get an electrician out to the house, even though we're renting, so there's really no point in like purchasing some kind of improvement on a home we don't own. And then factoring in the cost of the electric like box thing that charges it, because you need a special one that's like a 240 volt, so the 120 volt. And then can the house even handle it? What's the circuit situation look like? I know so much more about the way this house is like wired and where things are attached to in the circuit world. And my point is, it's really important to look at what your capabilities are in your home for charging. The pack that a car is gonna come with is not set up, I don't believe, for that super like fast charging. Ask these questions when you are looking at cars. Ask them how long it actually takes if you just plug it into a standard outlet in your house, and do the research on your own as well. These are just things that we went to the Chevy dealership and we came home and we started doing research and they hadn't told us, and we're like, why wouldn't they tell us this stuff? Like after doing a little bit of research, we're like, why did we spend so long looking at this car that's just not gonna work for us? So this is something I definitely wish I knew before I started this whole process. And so I wanted to just share it with you. The last thing I wanna talk about is leasing versus buying. As I looked into this whole electric car world, I discovered that leasing is actually probably financially smarter, really, especially if you're doing a brand new electric vehicle. I think a lot of it has to do with like, you think forward to like 3 years from now and you don't really know where this technology is going to be. You know, the Chevy Volt is one of the more affordable cars on the market. Tesla actually just put out an affordable car as well. You have to like wait like 1.5 years or 2 years or something for the car to show up because they haven't manufactured enough yet for the number of sales they're getting or something like that. But anyways, like I really think that a lot of car manufacturers are going to start putting out a lot of these affordable electric vehicles that have much larger ranges. So there's just a lot of factors here to consider. And so I think it's good to determine what your priorities are, bear in mind the whole charging and range situation and where this technology is headed in the future, and make your decision from there. So now I want to give you a little bit of a tour of our car that we ended up purchasing. And actually one thing I didn't mention in the tour that I'm about to show you, I think I did say that it's a 2014 Chevrolet Volt. It's a plug-in hybrid, but I don't think I'd mentioned that the range is about 32 miles on electric energy, and then the rest will come from gas. I did talk a little bit about how these two work simultaneously in the car as well. And we also got a really, really good deal on it. It's a used vehicle, and the cost of the vehicle brand new is much different than the price we paid for it. Y'all ready for the tour? This is so exciting. All right, guys, so this is the dashboard setup. Now, our first car is a 2002 Toyota RAV4, so this is like a spaceship for me. I mean, first of all, there's a freaking screen. So this screen's pretty cool because it shows you the intake, like how much energy it's using or giving back, because it does regenerate electric energy. It shows you your battery power, which right now this is not charged at all. We used it all the way the other day. And then it shows you how much gas you have left. This specific car actually only takes premium gas, but it gets such good gas mileage because of that I don't really care. It's completely fine. So this part shows how much electric energy is currently being used by the car. So I have the fan on right now, so that's why it's kind of going between 0.5 kilowatt and 1 kilowatt of energy used, because I am using 26% climate power. So it uses electric energy in order to power like anything like the air conditioning or music or anything like that. And then you'll see that this goes down as well. So if I were to be in traffic, if you like hit the brakes, it regenerates power. If you coast at a certain speed, it's also regenerating power. So it'll say minus such and such kilowatts because it's returning that energy to the car. So I don't know the like nitty gritty of it, but I know that it's using energy from the motion of the vehicle in order to regenerate power back to the battery, even when it says it's not charged at all. So right now it says it has 0 miles of battery power, but I have noticed that driving this car, it regenerates quite a bit of battery power and it defaults to battery power even when it says it's not charged, which is really, really cool. On this side, it'll show you how much gas energy it's using basically. And then this ball is really interesting. If I look at that too long, it stresses me out. It's like, it'll move up and down and you want to kind of try to keep it in the center. It's just basically saying like accelerate slowly and brake slowly. I don't know. Anyways, so that's that display. To be honest, I still don't know how to change this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. The radio, which we got a subscription for XM radio. I've been very confused by it, but you know, it's a thing. I also have the ability to use this guy and listen to podcasts from my phone. So I do that sometimes. There were 2 options, and this one was not very much more expensive than the other option. And this one had leather seats. Oh, so nice. And a Bose sound system. Pretty sweet. So we feeling real fancy up in this car. This is another thing that trips me out. There's no spot for a key, guys. It's just a button to start it. So creeps me out. Also, it does have a rear view like camera on this screen when you do put it into reverse. And the parking brake is a button, you guys. Ugh, this car is so crazy. And if you're tall and worried about fitting in here, Eric is actually like 6'3", 6'4", something like that. He fits comfortably in the front seat, but the same cannot be said for the back seat. I don't know if you can tell, but the ceiling back here is pretty low. It's like right here. It's a tight fit for passengers, but this is a commuter car, so we didn't really care that much. And just so you know, there is no third seat in the middle. It's just 2 seats back here. This is completely taking up the center spot. It does have a decent sized trunk, which is nice with this netting back here. There's a good shot of the seats and everything, kind of what it feels like in here. And this is my personal favorite part of this car. HOV access. This is kind of crazy. You just push this button one time right here and it locks all the doors. Okay, last thing I want to show you is the charging setup. So you open it right here, and this is what's actually getting plugged in there. And this is what the box looks like. So basically we have this cord plugged into a regular outlet inside. We had to get a special extension cord so that it can handle all the electricity through here. This is the box where the power is coming from. That's the like plug that goes in the car. So that's how it charges. Thank you for watching the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was very unrelated to my normal content, but just a little bit of like a personal update. I have 3 travel plans that are in stone now coming up. One of them in particular is an actual vacation. The first one is going to be in mid-May, and I'm going to be going to Oregon. I'm going to be going to the Mount Hood area for a friend's wedding. I'm super excited about that. It's like one of my best friends. And then not too long after that, I'm actually going to Cancun, Mexico. That's going to be a business trip. So I think the only video I'm really going to have coming out of that is either going to be for the business that I'm working for, or I think I'm also going to put out a what I ate while I was in Cancun video. So I'm going to just show you guys everything I ate while I was there. The actual vacation is coming up in July. For that, we are actually going to be going out to the East Coast and seeing Eric's family, but we're going to be starting in a city. It's a little mountain town. It's not that small, out in Western North Carolina, and it is a city that everyone tells me you're going to want to move there. It's perfect. And that's Asheville. So we get to go spend a couple days in Asheville. I'm looking for a couple things to do. I'm going to post on Patreon and see what you guys think. And then we're going to be spending some time out in Eastern North Carolina on the beautiful beaches of the Emerald Isle. I am so excited. There are more travel plans set up for later in the year, but those ones aren't set in stone, so I'm not going to talk about those just yet. But just so you know, there is some travel stuff coming up. And so that's when my patrons come into play. Thank you so much if you are one of my patrons. I'm going to be posting on there maybe like some kind of poll or just kind of a little update of what I'm thinking about doing, and see what you guys think and what you guys want to see us do. I'd love to do some kind of like random adventurous fun thing that I would never do otherwise. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Okay, bye!